Hi guys, my name is Tosh. Thank you for stopping by. As you can tell from the title, I am here to tell you about my personal experiences with my breast reduction journey during this nasty, funky, stanky COVID-19 crisis. So I'm gonna try to keep it short, simple, sweet, give you details, give you information that you haven't seen in any other videos. Yeah, so let's get to it. A little about myself. 33, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Teacher. Been growing my boobs since the second grade. So you can only imagine how huge they are. And once I had my son, it was all over. All over. So I have always said that I wanted to get this. I had a consultation in high school. They was like, they denied me, thinking it was the ninth, 10th grade. They denied me. I was like, okay, well, I get it when I get older. So my goal was to always have a breast reduction. But this year, my goal was to get it done summer 2020. So let's start at the beginning. So in January, I had an appointment with my gynecologist, and when she was feeling on my boobs, something clicked in my head and was like, "Hey, ask her, do she think that you are a good candidate for a breast reduction?" So I asked, and she was like, "It's a possibility." And she was like, "Let me refer you to a good friend of mine." So she referred me to my doctor that I have now. And I was like, cool. So that was January. In March, they reached out to me and they was like, we want to set you up an appointment for a consultation. I went to my consultation. During consultation, they ask you health questions about your background, your family background. They look at your boobs. They take pictures to send to the insurance company. They look at your shoulders. She asked me what size I am. I told her, which is a 40N. Don't tell anyone. She repeated it and was like, I never seen that before. Anywho. So, yes, guys, a 40N. And this is what they look like. So, after we got done, she was like, I'm about to send it over to the insurance company. 3 weeks later, they approved me. I received a letter in the mail, and they approved me. And then I'm looking at my email. The assistant, she emailed me on March the 25th. She was like, great news, you were approved for your surgery. She just telling me about how much I would have to pay. She listed how much I have to pay my doctor, which was $2,129. That is due the day of the surgery. So I was like, okay. So she was telling me, hey, pick a date. This is March. She told me to pick a date. So my date have always been July, the end of July. So I can party during the summer. And when it was almost time for me to go back to work, which I am a teacher, I can relax, get my head together, recover, and head back to work. So I told her July the 21st. And so that was March. So COVID was like growing, getting bad. You all seen it. Paper towel shortage, tissue, water. You all were there. Yeah. So COVID was like, I'm about to rain on your parade and I'm about to stop everything. So March, April, May. So my date was set for July the 21st. But when COVID was like, I'm about to rain on your parade, it all became a halt. I received a call and was like, hey, COVID is not playing any games. We're going to have to put a halt on your surgery. So by then I was like, oh my, this is getting serious. I'm probably not going to be able to get my surgery this summer or whatever. So I went on by my business. Then I received an email in June the 27th. And basic, she was like, hey, are you interested in still having your surgery in July? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, okay, well, we're scheduling surgeries. And I was like, okay. So then COVID was like, baby. So I received a call and she was like, hey, by the looks of it, the numbers are rising. Do you want to, so my 3 days was July the 10th, the 14th, July the 21st. So then when she called, she was like, hey, what about the 14th? I was like, okay, keep in mind this is June the 27th, around that time. So I was like, okay, the 14th is fine. So then she was like, hey, before they start shutting us down, what about the 10th? And I was like, literally, guys, this happened like within a blink of an eye. I really don't know how to blink, but you get my drift. And I was like, okay. So this was like July the 3rd. That was a Friday. And then 4th of July was that Saturday. And she was like, Monday or Tuesday, you're going to go in for your post-op. In your post-op, they do your blood work, chest x-ray, and COVID-19 testing. It's mandatory. Ugh. I don't like the girl that did mine. Every time I talk to someone, of course they said it's uncomfortable, but mine hurt. She was up there for like, I'm going to say 3 to 4 seconds before she started swabbing. She was like, first we have to pause in your nose. And then next thing I know, then she up there talking about some 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. That's longer than 15 seconds. By the time she said Mississippi, that's another second. Whew. But anywho, so they did the COVID test or whatever. She gave me this, and she was like, shower using this the night before your surgery and the morning of. And they gave me this. So they wanted me to take records of my temperatures 3 nights before my surgery, and then it adds lost taste of smell, so you have to fill that out as well. And after I got my COVID test, I had to isolate myself in the house till it was time for my surgery, so which was cool. And then after my surgery, I had to isolate myself 7 days after. So keep in mind, that was yesterday. So yes, my surgery date was yesterday. But as you can see, I still have my boobs. Do not judge me. So the assistant was like, okay, the doctor's going to call you the night before night before surgery. And I was like, okay. So then, not the night, but the day. So she called me Thursday around 10, and she was like, telling me the things that I need or whatever. And asking me questions, how I feel and all that type of stuff. I'm like, I'm fine. And then she was like, I said, was everything okay? She was like, yes, but your white blood cells was a smidge high. That's the word she used, a smidge high. Why did she tell me that? Because then I started freaking out. And she was like, that means you must have an infection somewhere. And I was like, what? I started freaking out. And then she was like, are you okay? Are you feeling well? And I was like, yes, I feel fine. And then I started remembering that my ear been giving me problems. And I was like, well, what if it's an ear infection? And then she was like, well, we need to know because we don't want the infection to spread while we're doing your breast reduction. So, guys, I started freaking out. And so I was like, well, let me try to call a doctor. So I tried to call a doctor, and that was my son. So I tried to call a doctor to see can they see me, but no one was taking new patients and all this type of stuff. So then I used this system that I have with my insurance called Teledoc, and you can via a doctor doing video. So you tell them what's going on, and then they prescribe you medicine. So he looked in the system and was like, hey, I see that somebody done prescribe you this medicine, which was infection. It was my medicine that I was supposed to take after my surgery. And he was like, you can take it now. And I was like, can I take it now and still do my surgery? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. So I'm asking the doctor, are you sure? And he was like, yes. So after I got off the phone with him, I called my surgeon and I told her what he suggested. And she was like, okay. She was like, well, take the medicine and we're going to see how you feel in the morning. So I was like, okay. So then my mind started rambling and started thinking and started Googling and all that type of stuff. Guys, if it's getting close to your surgery, I advise you to stay away from social media, stay away from the internet, stay away from all those things, because you're going to start freaking out. I started freaking out. If you need to meditate, I think the best thing to do is meditate and get your mind together. So when it's time to go to surgery, you'll be ready. And so I called her Thursday night and I was like, and she was like, hey, if you feel like you don't want to do this, don't do it. But you need to let me know. She was like, are you going to be there in the morning or not? And I was like, I'm not. So I canceled my surgery the night before. Crazy. So I emailed the assistant and I was like, hey, this happened. She was like, I understand. She was like, we're gonna reschedule it. So my new schedule date is this Thursday. So Monday and Tuesday I'm gonna have to go get a COVID test redone, and then I should be set for Thursday. I have a good support system with my friends and my family. I deleted all social media because I want my mind to be ready. And I think that's the best thing. So hopefully I answered all your questions and your needs and I gave you some comfort. This is only part 1, so I will be back. If you have any questions for me, please comment below. Bye. Thank you for watching. Peace.